There are many classical, or should I say traditional, piano examinations out there. What would be the point of the Rockschool one that makes it stand out?
If you're comparing to a classical syllabus, the repertoire is obviously purely in the contemporary idiom, spans the contemporary idiom. So I'd say actually any pop piece does as well, because we arrange them to bring those nuances out. So we look at what makes them the same as an equivalent grade classical piece.
For the syllabus you have set up, who would be your target audience? What kind of examinees do you have in mind?
I think it's just going to appeal to anyone that wants that same rigour in their technical preparation as say a classical exam, but they just want to be able to play contemporary repertoire. Because before I worked for Rockschool, I was a teacher as well. I can't really say that it's going to appeal to one
specific type. Yes.
If teachers are unsure, it might be that if they've got pupils that are getting it and they're into the piano, but they just need something else to keep that engagement, that might be a good place to start. I actually see it as one day it might be that if you're taking pop piano and contemporary piano and you get into the film music, that might be quite cool. And actually it might lead us back to classical as well. So they kind of go round in a circle.
Go full circle.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's say I am an examinee, a potential examinee.
Okay.
I am a little bit undecided on which examination I should take, the piano and the keys. What would be your advice on what are the factors that should I consider?
It's a really great question. It opens up a wider question as to whether we were going to make a syllabus for keyboards which was entirely different from the piano.
Yes.
And actually, the way to make the decision is, first of all, are you more interested in the manipulation of the sound, so the experimental aspects of the keyboard, and how to actually harness the different sounds within that instrument? Or are you coming from a more traditional pianistic route? So if you do you essentially want to be assessed as a piano player exclusively, or would you like part of your assessment to be how you actually change the sounds? I'd say have a look at the repertoire and see, because keyboard's repertoire naturally tends to lend itself to some different genres and some more electronic genres.
Electric sound maybe? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we have included that in the piano syllabus as well, but it's all arranged for this instrument. So this has a beautiful sound and it's its own thing. Whereas a keyboard, obviously, there's a separate skill involved, which is to program the keyboard. And if that's exciting to you, go for the keyboard syllabus, because, to be honest, the keyboard syllabus still has those pianistic techniques.
Yes.
So you're still learning scales, you're still doing the same supportive tests, but the repertoire gives you an opportunity to show what you can do with setting up a keyboard.
Yes.
And playing the keyboard.
But does it mean if I take the piano examination, it would more be focused on the mechanical skills, like you say, the pianistic skills?
Essentially what we do is we look at the control. So if you think of changing the sound on a keyboard.
Yes.
Essentially, again, this comes down to my experience in the field, if you like, playing gigs.
Like on stage, yes.
Yeah, it's an additional physical technique. It's something that you do. You actually have to play. Sometimes, if you're playing the keyboard part, right, and you've only got one hand to do because you've got the other hand doing something else.
Ah, yes.
So sometimes I've been in situations where I've been playing an organ part in the left hand. I've had to hold the note with one finger and use another finger to control the sound.
Ah.
It's like a physical. It's a bit of a crass example, but
is it possible if I have a smaller hand?
Yes, absolutely. So we kind of we do take that on board, and of course we get a lot of young learners.
Ah, yes, yes, of course.
So smaller hands. I'm lucky I've got quite a large hand span, but of course we have to take that on board. So, so no, we're not asking them to sort of do acrobatics or anything
Yes.
like that. But yeah, that's how that works, really.
Can you tell us a little bit more on the repertoire How did you pick those songs?
That was actually, I'll tell you what, that took a long time because which repertoire pieces have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
So actually, we need contemporary music, but not just something that's come out yesterday.
So they are new but not too new?
I suppose you could say that.
Yes.
Yeah. There has been a lot of thought about, well, is that as rigorous as classical music? Because the two haven't necessarily been seen as sitting in the same place for a long time. And I say actually they do. They contain the same building blocks of music. Jazz as being just one type.
Yes, one genre.
Yeah, one genre, and classical, so impressionist or baroque or whatever it is, different genres, and they come together. The best example I can give you is the piano syllabus contains solo piano arrangements, and some of those are soundtracks to film. So
yes.
if you take, for example, the Schindler's List at grade 7.
There are also quite a lot of Disney ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those who are not sure, a good way in is to just try some of the solo pieces because they don't have the backing track, so you can they may feel like more familiar territory. That took quite some time to put together. So that's how we choose the repertoire, really.